What's going on? Welcome back to the Feuding Bros. As usual, I'm with Freddie. What's going on, Freddie?
Yeah, doing good, man. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. And Thierry looking like a boss today, man. You come back from work or what?
Yeah, I did actually.
Looking all smart in that. Smart in that.
Yeah. The professional look, man. You know how it is. You know how it is.
Okay. So I guess we'll get a professional insights today and no bias, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well. Let's get started. And before we start, actually, I just wanted to say something because we need to do a better job of getting the listeners involved. So we're gonna try and do a better job of doing that because sometimes we have the debate and then we just don't ask for your opinions. And so sorry about that. And well, from now on, we're just gonna try and do better. Try and do better. As I said before, we're still learning, Bert. We just go over the flow. All right. I guess there's only one place to start. As Newcastle break the duck after how long? I think the last time they had the trophy was 1969 or something like that.
Yeah, something
To
like that.
finally beat, to finally get a cup and beat Liverpool in the final of the League Cup. Guys, what a win, man! What a win! What you got to tell me, man?
Liverpool. Newcastle rather will take that. They will happily take that trophy, man. After what 70 years or so. Yeah, that's a joy. I mean, who's gonna come to them and say, "Hey, little trophy," and talk about the levels of trophy. They just needed something, and you can see what it means to the club.
Tottenham be happy with half of that. So
exactly, exactly. So at some point, like the size of the trophy don't matter. It's actually winning it, especially that these trophies are not easy necessarily to win. There are some big teams sometimes that come up and usually just grab the cup every year. So yeah, great celebration for Newcastle. So deserved. I believe all of us here was rooting for them, and they did the job, man. They did the job on the day against poor Liverpool. To be honest, we talked about it so many times. When Salah don't turn up, who's gonna step up? And initially earlier in the season, I was defending the team, saying, "Yeah, somebody will," but nobody does. Nobody does sometimes. So that's crazy. But hey, all the credit goes to Newcastle. They came, they played solid. Dan Burn, man. I know we're gonna talk about that header. That was a missile. Like
wow.
we haven't seen headers like this in a minute, man.
Yeah.
What a goal! And Isak, of course, comes and just buries it for them. So yeah, great win. Happy for Newcastle. Truly deserved. Again, I know we were all rooting for them, so I want to hear from you guys.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course we were all rooting for them. But it's great for them, obviously. Like, is waiting so long, and now obviously like they're on the come up kind of after the new ownership and everything, and they said they were gonna take it slow and not rush into becoming a big club. They're already a pretty big club, but yeah, they were not gonna rush into getting to those bigger stages, and this is a good step. This is a very good step. Eddie Howe, I'm happy for Eddie Howe, first English manager to win a trophy since 2008, which is crazy. So I'm very happy for him. He's definitely the best English manager right now.
Yeah.
Like there's not many, but he's definitely the best. So
What are you talking about Potter for? Potter, man. Potter.
oh no, come on. I have some time for Potter though. I feel like Chelsea did him wrong, but he needs to rebuild his career. He needs to rebuild.
The stocks are low right now. Super low stock.
It started kind of well at West Ham, kind of.
He has, yeah. He's
West
been
Ham.
doing all right at West Ham, to be fair to him. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Eddie Howe, amazing. Newcastle, very, very great for them. Very happy for them. Like Freddie said, these cups, they're not easy to win usually, especially this one. Like Man City dominated this for a few years. So it's not easy to win. So to come up as a smaller team and win it is a big achievement. So it's a stepping stone for them. We'll see where that takes them. They might also get Champions League, which will be big for them because I think if they don't, it's going to be hard to keep hold of some of their star players.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll be hoping to get that. But I mean, we're gonna come on to Liverpool. I'm sure we'll have a lot of stuff to say about Liverpool. But man, those last like 4 games, they have looked poor. And even before they went great, they were huffing and puffing, but at least like they were still kind of like deservedly winning games. Like it's still like you didn't play great, but you just about probably deserve to win. But those last like 4 games, even that Southampton game, like they have looked very, very poor. And like Freddie said, like earlier we were talking about it, about the depth in the team and saying that, yeah, even if Salah is not there, we think there's people that can step up. And at least lately, they haven't been. I think earlier in the season they were, but lately
they will come up sometimes.
Yeah,
At some point, it was
exactly Especially Gakpo was doing very well at one point, and I don't know if he got injured, but Diaz lately has not been good. Jota has not been good.
I'll tell you what, Jota, man, shocking! Like, oh my goodness,
he's not been good at all.
I mean, guys, before we start naming players and that, let's break down this game a little bit. I think Freddie alluded to it, and the first goal comes from a bullet header from what's his name? Burns, Dan Burns, yeah. And but I mean, for me, the most criminal thing in there is that Liverpool didn't understand the warning signs, because Newcastle had a couple of corners before that, and for Dan Burns to look at who's marking him and he sees McAllister, he must have been thinking, just spin the ball, man. I got this all day. And that's what happened. And I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, is that I mean, I know, and I listened to the guys, I think on ESPN, alluding to that as well, saying that it can't be just a manager. I mean, like when you're on the field as a as a player, or even as a captain on the field, who was Van Dijk on the day, it's like you don't wait for your manager to come and change things. You see that it's not working, and you see that couple of corners previously Newcastle were dangerous. You have to respond and put somebody better on Dan Burn to mark. What do you think on that first goal?
I mean, like you said, it's kind of criminal. It's kind of criminal because they had the warning signs before. I think there was 2 corners before that where Dan Burn got his head on it, and obviously they didn't go in. But there was one where he knocked it down for Guimaraes and he nearly scored. And like you get 2 warnings, and why do you not change anything? Why that? Like you said, like it can be all on the manager. And I know everybody now has their zonal system. Everybody has their zone and blah blah blah. And you want your main headers to be like in the center, 6-yard box type stuff. But you can clearly see that this is a massive mismatch. Like even if McAllister, his job wasn't really to like obviously try and win a header. It was mainly to like maybe block Dan Burn or whatever. But it's just there's too much of a size difference there for him to be able to do anything.
There's almost like a foot difference.
Yeah, there's almost like a foot. Like even to block him, he couldn't block him. Like he can't do anything. So that's on now Van Dijk. That's on Konate. Like you big guys, like you can move somebody else. Oh, come take my place. I go mark this dude. Like you gotta be able to do that.
You could clearly see that the corners were going to Dan Burns.
Yeah,
that was a tactic. It's not like it was the first corner of the thing and you got caught out. You could clearly see that they were targeting Dan Burns. And every time Trippier had the ball, he was like, "Where's Dan Burn?" And he wasn't even doing anything with the ball. Like he wasn't like swinging it with pace and that. He was just lofting it, and for him to attack it, and he paid a dividend in the end.
Sure did.
Yep, it did, man, and I don't know why you wouldn't make this adjustment as players on the field, and even going on to that. Go on, Fred.
Yeah, there was this argument that, talking about coming into the final, Liverpool had played, I don't know, maybe 9 games more or 19 games more. I think it's nine games more.
Yeah.
In Newcastle. And talking about the element of mental fatigue and obviously physical fatigue. Do you guys think that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really buy into that. Sorry. I don't really buy into that because, like, it's a cup final, and at the end of the day, when you play it in the final, you don't even need to wait for somebody to get you up to the final, And the fact of the matter is, Liverpool just did not show up in this game. They were just blatantly dominated. I mean, in the middle, it was just pathetic what they were doing in the middle. I mean, you had Guimaraes, Tonali, and I mean, my man of the match, Joe Ellington, they were just physical monsters in there. They wanted it more. They were running longer. They were going and getting the balls. They just wanted it more. And in the middle, and the battle in the middle was just non-existent. I mean, Liverpool just does not show up this game. I mean, I understand. I mean, that's why you're Liverpool. When you're Liverpool, you have to expect to win, or to play all these games, and you have to be ready for it. Before that, I think it was before the FA Cup, when they got knocked out by Plymouth, I think. We were talking about the quadruple. For Liverpool.
Every year.
In the space of a month, in the space of the month, that's it. It's all gone. I mean, if they weren't this far away in the league, you would have started questioning that as well. You would have started questioning that as well. So because the form is just disappeared. I mean, we touched on. I mean, Salah is just a shadow of himself not right now. I think maybe since the Champions League exit, where it didn't do anything as well. To be fair. He's probably checked out. That's probably what he wanted most. But I mean, and with the cloud over his future as well at the end of the season, I don't know. I don't know what's happened to him. And for him to go from just amazing to non-existent now, he wasn't doing the running. He didn't want the ball. I thought he was hiding a little bit in the game as well.
He was a little bit.
The ball didn't really do much with it. So
Yeah, he didn't want to deal with the physical fight with Livramento and stuff like that.
Yeah, he didn't want it. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. And Salah is one of the strongest players on the road, backing into players and all that. Yeah. But he didn't want it this time. So I don't think it's about fatigue and all that. It's a cup final. You should be up for it.
Yeah. No, I totally get that point, because obviously 9 games will make a difference, and you'll be a more tired team than Newcastle that doesn't have midweek games. But it's not like this final sneaked up on you. You knew this final was coming. You knew you were going to play PSG. Those were going to be tough games. And you never rotate. This guy never rotates. He always plays Salah. Salah is always playing. Gravenberch is always playing.
This was my point when you were talking about the Liverpool squad. I was the only one here saying that I don't see that they have the squad to, beyond the 11. I don't see that they have the squad to maintain a run. I mean, they on a one-off game, maybe they can win against the Southampton. They can rotate and all that. But in the long run, I didn't see it, and it's just I guess whatever I was saying is just coming to be true right now.
Yeah, for sure. Especially not for the quadruple. Like, that's not a squad. Yeah. For sure, you need a way deeper bench than that, and even if you're gonna have 8 players, they really need to show up every single time. So, I mean, they slipped up on this final. I guess the bottom line is, as you said, Jan, they didn't want it as much, and that's what it came down to. Newcastle wanted it so bad, like that's you can see what it meant to them, So They were always gonna give it 1,000%, and Liverpool didn't have that kind of mentality. It feels like for them it's like Champions League didn't happen. The league is pretty much done. So League Cup, we're not gonna push it too much. So yeah.
Well, I mean, let's get to the. Go ahead, Sherry. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say like that can be a black mark because obviously like you want to take momentum with you into the next season. And obviously this is Slot's first season and stuff, and he's gonna win the league and everybody's gonna praise him for it, and rightly so. But like if you lose this and then let's say you kind of huff and puff and win the league by like, I don't know, maybe 5-6 points when you were 12 points ahead. And now going into the next season, there's a lot of question marks, and that carries on. And now you have Van Dijk. Is he gonna renew? Is Salah gonna renew? Is Arnold gonna renew? You probably need a few good players to sign this season. Like a lot of question marks all of a sudden, and like now you're starting the next season with those question marks over your head. Obviously, you're not gonna be under pressure or anything, but like it can really be a black spot on what has been a very good season for them otherwise.
Yeah. And well, when you said it's not going to be under pressure, I think it's going to be under a little bit of pressure in terms of maintaining the standards that he set himself for this team, because nobody expected him to do anything with this team this year, especially with virtually no signings when he came in. I think the only one was what's his name? Yeah, Chiesa on loan, and he hasn't featured much. I mean, he did score in this game in the 94th or something, but he hasn't featured much. So it's just basically the same squad as last year. So I mean, kudos to him, like you say. But I think there's going to be some expectation to, now that you did that with this team, this time around, now you will get money to spend, and then let's see with your own team what you can do. But let's move on to the second goal, and it was pretty much the same thing again. Just not taking care of the warning signs, because again, before the goal, Isaac had a similar chance that he scored. It was offside, and just literally 2 minutes later, he scored a similar goal. I mean, what is going on in that? And what's up with Liverpool's defense right now?
Man, it's looking peak. I mean, like you said, and he even had a third chance, similar, another.
Yeah, and you should have scored that too, because it was wide open.
Yeah. So
to be fair, the ball was a little bit behind him, though.
He was a little bit behind him. He had to really adjust to try and get that on target. But it's peak. I mean, the whole team is just not performing right now. So it's just the whole setup is just not performing. So obviously, that affects the defense, and they just were not up for that game, and it just showed, and like they just were not at the races and a step behind in everything they did. And I mean, Newcastle get that second goal. I mean, that game ends in a little bit of a nervy ending for Newcastle, but it should not have been.
They should have been.
Yeah, they should have been 4-0 comfortably.
I mean, when I look at the stats right now, let me just pull them up a little bit. It's like, Newcastle too. I mean, possession-wise, obviously Liverpool had the ball, but they didn't do much with it. I mean, total shots, Liverpool 7 to Newcastle 17, with only 2 shots on target for Liverpool and 6 shots on target for Newcastle. I mean, that just tells you the whole story about the game. Just without the ball, they just dominate.
Yeah, and that opens up that debate about the death or the dying of possession style football, right? A lot of people are talking about it right now, talking about how we'll talk about it with Man City, how people are kind of figuring it out, and the more direct way of playing is getting more effective. And then we've seen that from Slot this season, right? That's what he brought to Liverpool, being more direct at times and stuff like that. In this game, Newcastle, they prefer to sit back, give the possession away, but when they had the chance to counter, when they had the chance to just hit them hard, they would do that. And those crosses they did, that really caused a lot of trouble to Liverpool. and Isak was definitely one of the main, beneficiary of that. But yeah, again, the death of possession style football. What do you guys think about that? Like, we're seeing that with City, right? Barcelona, even they changed their philosophy a little bit more to become more direct, and we see that with Newcastle. That's what they did. They sat back. Manchester United, for example, that's what we're doing this season. You sit back, you wait for the team that likes to have the ball to have the ball. Once you get the chance, you counter, and then boom. Is that sustainable? Is that something that can carry out to be a real philosophy moving forward?
I mean, I'm a fan of possession football, but I mean, there has to be some incisiveness about it, So if you're just gonna go left and right, and not up and down, then that's gonna be a problem. And I'm a fan of it, but it has to be done well. And when you are playing a Newcastle side, that's they're gonna be bigger than you, they're gonna be stronger than you. You have to be, first of all, up to the physical challenge. You have to be up for that. And at the end of the day, if you are up for the physical challenge, that's when your football is gonna shine. But this is just the nitty-gritty that you don't teach. If you let a man bully you out of the ball, then you're not gonna be able. You're just gonna go left and right, and that's it. You're not gonna be penetrative. So I'm all for possession football. I mean, tiki-taka days of Guardiola. I loved it, and so I'm not gonna just sacrifice my ethics just for sit back and go on the counter attack. I mean, that works for some teams, and I understand Newcastle does that. And
look at Real Madrid, for example; they won titles over that.
Yeah, and they have, and it works. But if people with possession games, they won titles with that too. So I mean, it's just a job well done. You have to be able to do the job well for me. So I mean, that's just how I feel. I would take the possession game back as long as it's penetrative. Because it can be boring if you just going side to side and going back, and it can be boring. So, but yeah.
No, I mean, I've seen that debate about the death of possession. I do think because football goes in cycles, right? So it's like for a star will come and it will be popular and everybody wants to do it, and then after a little bit, like kind of people just kind of figure it out, and not that the style dies, but like it's not as popular anymore because more teams can figure it out and know how to play against it. So I think that's what we're seeing a little bit more. Like a lot of teams are seeing that. I mean, when you come and you try and do that possession style and keep the ball, people are very happy to just stay back and defend their box. And then now especially in the Premier League, with how athletic some of these teams are, when they win the ball, it's so hard to contain them because they just have people flying everywhere and they're just getting at you. So I mean, me, I just like, I'm not like personally, like obviously I like the possession style. I just like entertaining football in general. If you can find a way to make your football entertaining, if you're just sitting back and defending every game, then like that's not something I want to see. But whether it's possession or not possession, or you're more direct, or you want to keep the ball, whatever you do, for me, as long as you can find a way to be a good balanced team and be good going forward and defending, like that's what I like to see. Like I used to back in the day, I don't know if you guys remember that season when Burnley was like actually really good and they finished like 6th or something like that, something crazy. I used to love watching them because like they were so direct and it wasn't no complicated football, but it was so effective.
A bit like what Nottingham Forest is doing right now.
Exactly, a little bit like
they're
that.
soaking it up, and then they just have arrows on the sides, And once they have the ball, they just go boom.
They just go boom, and they have big guys up top and cross it in and like headers, and like it's very simple football, but it works and it's very entertaining because they're always trying to attack, they're always trying to get forward, they're always trying to create something. So but I definitely see the point with the possession for a lot of. I feel like there's more teams moving away from that than moving towards it now. But as long as it works, right? That's at the end of the day, it's results that drive the process.
That's what it is.
Exactly. So
Well, I mean, Chiesa comes on and makes it nervy, like Freddie said, for the for the last couple of minutes. But yeah, it was a wrap by then.
Yeah.
Liverpool did not deserve to get anything out of this game. Newcastle were just by far the better team on the day, and they get their first trophy in a long, long time. And like I said, if it wasn't for how far Liverpool are in the league, I think they would have been in trouble as well. I think
so too. I think so too. It would have been hairy.
Yeah. So, but they are the champions elect, and that is that. I guess we can wrap it up here, guys. If you don't have any more to say, and just ask our viewers, to let us know what you think of our impressions of the League Cup final. If you are Liverpool or a Newcastle fans, drop us a comment so we know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.
All right.
See you later, guys.